Hey everyone, and welcome back. By now, most of you have heard that Illuvium is once again bringing back public roadmaps. The first update was released about a week ago, so there's been plenty of time for their goals to sink in and gather some public opinions. So first things first, let's just remember that this is just a roadmap, not a deadline. While there are no doubt internal goals, it's very likely that some of these dates will be delayed, so let's take everything with a grain of salt. Now, if we glance back at 2022, they gave us a bit of a review. As nice as it is to see what's coming, it's always a good idea to reflect on all the work that's been done. After the exploit of staking in Q4 of 2021, the team was quick to spin up an improved staking V2. After that, we saw the release of the Survival Arena. Now, this is very different from the much anticipated Ascended Arena, or PvP. The Survival Arena was actually not even intended to be a game mode, but rather just a testing ground. It challenges players to survive as many rounds as possible against a series of increasingly difficult Illuvials. It let the community test out the characters while providing the team with needed information on what changes might be needed for PvP. While we continued to wait for PvP, we had the wildly successful land sale. Now, I say successful in that it was one of the smoothest sales I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of. The Dutch auction utilized the Ethereum Layer 2 scaling solution Immutable X to minimize the gas fees associated with participating in the sale, and the entire event raised about $72 million. Since then, there's been mixed feelings surrounding Illuvium land, mainly a healthy dose of impatience. I feel like a lot of people who bought land were under the impression that the game was coming out in 2022. So the land they bought, which would produce fuel to sell to players of the overworld, would be utilized really soon. As we can see, things got heavily delayed, and that is not the case. However, back when land was just supposed to be some minigame, this is what it was supposed to look like. And this is what was delivered to us in Q4 of 2022 to beta test. If I was purely an investor trying to make my money back on land as quickly as possible, I would be annoyed too. As a gamer who enjoys all styles, including time wasters like Farmville, this makes me feel all cozy inside, and it is quite addicting if I do say so myself. Honestly, as an investor, I'm more excited for a free-to-play version of this game with microtransactions than I am to play my own plots of land to make fuel. Anyway, back to the timeline. After the sale, we concluded the year with some updates to the arena and the private beta release of Illuvium 0 and Illuvium Overworld, where players got to explore Crimson Waste and experience what it would be like to catch these Illuvials. And finally, most recently, Wave 1 of Illuvium Beyond, Illuvium's Illuvitar collection game, has launched. So, now that we know what has happened, the big question is what's coming next? Well, for all the landowners out there, we are expecting to see Illuvium 0 Season 1 before June. This means that any progress that you've made on your land will be wiped, and you'll have to start from scratch. But during that time, any blueprints that landowners discover during Season 1 will be NFTs that we get to keep. In Season 1, there will be 15 blueprints total for us to collect. And we've been assured that if someone plays their land thoroughly, the odds have been raised so that you should be able to successfully collect all blueprints before the end of Season 1. Another release that the community can look forward to coming up very soon is Overworld Private Beta 2. This update will introduce 2 new regions, Abyssal Basin and Brightland Steppes, 28 new Illuvials to play with, new movement mechanics to test out, and much more. Now, it's pretty lucky that we'll have Overworld to distract us, because one thing that you'll notice on this timeline is there is a gap between Illuvium Beyond Wave 1 and Wave 2. Now, previously they had said that there would be a continuous sale of Illuvitars every 3 months after the launch of Wave 1. We're not 100% sure why they're placing a gap in there, but there have been speculations that rather than Wave 2 in Q2, there will instead be a select sale of partner discs for brands and communities that Illuvium is partnering with. Once we head into Q3 is when we'll get what everyone has really been waiting for, and that is PvP. To a lot of people, this will be the cornerstone to Illuvium's release, the make it or break it moment. which is why I'm very surprised to see public beta slated for release in Q4. It's no secret that the Illuvium team is a collection of perfectionists. It's one of the many things I love about them. I mean, come on, they give us shit like this. How could you not love them? But with PvP being such an integral part of the ecosystem, 3 months of community testing just doesn't seem like enough time to test and make appropriate changes. I think it's more realistic that public beta will launch closer to Q2 or Q3 of 2024. There are many variables at play, such as balancing, unexpected bugs, team size, work prioritization, and it always seems like something new is popping up. So while it would be amazing to see the public beta launch by Q4 of this year, I'm keeping my expectations in check. So there you have it. From where we've been to where we're going. Exciting to be sure, but I would definitely caution you to temper your expectations. After all, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. For more Illuvium content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you in the overworld.